Okay, first I apologize for my dress. Kevin scheduled this for Wednesday, and he just told me about 30 minutes ago it was today. So, no, that's not true. He reminded me yesterday, and I forgot. But anyway, we're out of school, so I don't think anybody is too concerned about it. But we're back to work. We had our 3 practices. We canceled today's practice and tomorrow's practice. Inclement weather, so we didn't feel like we needed to go out. We had three practices scheduled for the remainder of the week up until we let them go home for Christmas. So we'll practice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They'll go home. They'll meet us back out there on the 26th. We're in really good shape. Our team is healthy. Everybody's practicing. Jeremy Smith, we're going to hold him out one more week and let him get the extra 7 or 8, 9 days, and then when he shows up at the bowl, he should be really close to full speed. Team's attitude is great. I think we're playing what's probably the best football team that we've played against all year. I know everybody across the country is excited about the Stanford-Oklahoma State game. We're really excited about it. There's no question that Luck is a special player. In watching him, if you break down all of his throws in the pocket, out of the pocket, versus man, versus zone, his completion percentages are through the roof. He's really, really good, smart. He's well coached. He's big, strong. Everybody knows that. Their tight end's a really good player. They got backs that fit in their system. They're strong up front. Defensively, I said this. I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, whenever we found out we were playing Stanford, that their defense, nobody really talks about it much like ours. But statistically, they're doing really well. They're smart. They're in the right gaps. They're sound. So it's going to be a really good football game. As I said, we've always really liked where we're at as a football team. I'm really excited about Brandon Whedon and his opportunity to play in this game, and so we're looking forward to it. We need to finish up strong this week, let the guys have a few days off, and then we'll show up out there in Arizona.
Coach Gundy, have you had a chance to take a couple of deep breaths and realize that Oklahoma State is the Big 12 Conference champions and going to their first ever BCS game?
Well, yes. When we finished playing the Oklahoma game, the coaches all were gone on the road recruiting. I tried to get them to stay Monday and take the day off, and they wouldn't do it. They were all out of here recruiting, but I was in that week and obviously busy doing a lot of things for the bowl and some recruiting, but was able to kind of sit there and think some, and just thankful for the opportunity that I've had, that our staff has had, and that what our team has done for us. I don't think there's any question that it's changed the way people look at Oklahoma State football, so I'm really proud of our players for what they've been able to accomplish.
Mike, along those lines, I know the team goals are most important. You had a lot of guys right now. A lot of guys came out of this with honors. How rewarding is that to you and the staff to see that many guys catch All-American honors? And of course, Justin got the Litnikoff award.
Well, in saying this in a humble way, to a certain point, I just stopped keeping track of how many guys were getting certain All-American honors, and there's a number of All-American teams. I think there's 3 or 4 that we really recognize as legitimate big-time All-American teams, and we've had a number of those guys. Obviously, Blackmon's become a 2-time winner of his award and Blitnikoff award, and so the first meeting we had when we got back, I mentioned to the team that how proud our coaching staff was of the honors we received, and that I wanted them to understand that Blackmon and Garner and Markell and Levy and all those guys that have made All-American teams and have gotten individual honors, it can't be accomplished without everybody else. And so we've always talked about that, and the team understands it. And what I really like is these guys are unselfish players, and sometimes you can have a little friction amongst players when other guys become recognized individually, and we don't have that with our team. So that's a big part of team chemistry, and kind of explains where we're at today because of them being unselfish.
You said in July, Mike, that you would like to get 1,500 yards out of Randall, Jeremy Smith, and comparable production from those two, what you got from Kendall, and now they're at close to 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns. Are they just better than you realized, or is Todd's usage of the two been a little different than you anticipated going into the season?
That was a pretty good prediction, wasn't it?
What?
The 1,500 yards with them combined?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that when I said that. I think they're both better. I know Jeremy Smith's better than he was, but we started to see him improve at the end of the season, and we were hoping that he would continue through. His mental approach and his attitude is so much different than it was a year and a half ago, and that's why he's become a good football player. Joseph Randall was probably the best freshman running back in the country last year. And he started out really good. He went through a little point in the season when he got out there a little bit, wasn't staying focused. We all saw that. And then he refocused in the Oklahoma game. And he's got an opportunity to continue to be a really good player for us. So the combination of what Todd and Jamal and Joe Wickline have put together in the running game. Todd delegates more so than what Dana did and listens. And now he has his input, but it's more of, okay, Joe, what do you want to run? Jamal, what do you want to run? And I think that that's helped our staff. It's not a knock against Dana. I just think that's helped us. It's improved our running game. And Todd had a little more of a background with some heavier running game than what Dana's background was. So that would be the reasons, and that's what's contributed to those guys having more success.
It's always been defined here by one big-time back, all the way back to the 70s.
Right.
So from this point on, do you expect, is it going to be your preference to kind of go with a two-guy deal where they get close, maybe not close to equal, but a substantial number of carries for a backup guy?
We think that's the future. We don't think one running back can take the pounding playing at this level in this league that backs used to. And not that they're not as physical, but it goes back to what we've talked about in here for 2 years. There's a lot more plays in a game than there used to be, and it moves too fast. They can't stay, in our opinion, they can't stay in there and play like we used to. And so they don't get a chance to huddle up and rest. So we need three. That gives us two deep with a young backup in a one-back set. It gives us two guys in our two-back set with a backup. And then we need to have a fullback in there to get into our three-back package.
Mike, I know this is a 99-to-1 shot, I guess, but in a backdoor kind of way, are you still hoping that a national championship could be happening in an AP? Are you playing for that, or are you just playing to win a BCS?
Well, we're playing to win the BCS. I would like for our team to have every opportunity that's out there because I think that they've earned it. But our focus and the players' focus will be on preparation. We want them to enjoy each other at the bowl site, have a good time, and then we want them to be in perfect condition with fresh legs when we play on the 2nd. And then they have to go play hard and win that game. We'll see how that works out, and then we'll proceed to the next point.
Why? Do you think a lot of the players knew there was a possibility of a split championship, or is that? And they mentioned that you brought it up to them in meetings. Why did you do that?
I don't think they had a clue before it. They're too young. I don't know when the last time that happened.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, well, maybe some of them are too young. But for the most part, I just don't think that they know anything other than the BCS. And we mentioned to them that before the Oklahoma game, they had a chance to be first-time conference champions at this school. Well, now if they want to work hard and play hard and have a chance to do something separate or something different than they had before, then that's a goal that they could accomplish. I mean, that's somebody else's opinion, but that's something that could happen.
Mike, despite ESPN's breaking news that Justin's going pro, he says he's not certain that if he decides that he might not, would you try to talk him out of not going pro?
We'll have one available if he decides he wants to come back. We'll have a scholarship. If not, then during these contract negotiations, I'll take part of the money out of that and get him a scholarship. I can't imagine, but he's welcome to come back. Love to have him.
Could he go through 2 senior days? Would that be allowable?
You bet. There's exceptions for everything.
Coach, all that goes into a BCS game as far as outside commitments, media stuff. Does that worry you, keeping the team focused throughout all of that? And how do you plan to do that?
We always worry about keeping them focused, and it should be easier now than it was during the season because school's out, so they're with us, they're practicing, they're lifting, they're watching tape, and then when they go home, they're with their family, then they show back out there with us, and it's really us together. You know, we have the resort that we're staying at, going to and from practice. We eat together, spend a lot of time as a group. There should be fewer distractions, but I mean, I'm sure there's television shows on during the day that are bowl, you know, previews and things like that, but I'm not as concerned about it now as I was during the season.
How long did it take the guys to get past that, we're the third team, we're not playing for that title game, to move on to getting ready to beat Stanford?
It hadn't been brought up. You know, we gave them 2 weeks off, and they showed back up here, and I hadn't heard anybody say anything about it. I think they understand that they can't change it now anyway, and they've moved forward.
Coach Gundy, congratulations on being National Coach of the Year. It's a well-deserved honor. Can you talk about what it means to you?
Again, you know, it's not something that I could accomplish without our staff. And I've always said that a Coach of the Year honor is really directed toward the coaching staff and everybody that's involved that's helped. So I do think it's a great honor for Oklahoma State, and I think it shows that you know, our coaching staff has continued to teach and to bring young people along and get them to play hard and have success.
You're a guy who thinks about the history of the game. I mean, I know you've Vince Lombardi. I mean, I've seen where, you know.
You got class or?
No.
Oh.
I've seen where you've got some of his books around, and you looked up to some of those coaches. You know, does it mean a little extra that it's the Eddie Robinson Award? Because, I mean, again, you have a sense of football history.
I will have to admit that when they sent over the or faxed the sheet, and I had to read through it to know what to do when you win it, they had a list of winners on there. And if you start at the bottom and work your way up, some pretty big name guys in college football, and so that was a little bit of a surprise to see my name up there with those guys. How about Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler, and I mean the list goes on. And Eddie Robinson, who obviously has accomplished more than anybody, and won that many games and had so much success at that school. So I'm very proud for Oklahoma State and glad that we had the opportunity to win the award.